I think that was definitely one of the reasons. All my clients would come in and some of them would be like, "Oh, I can see you doing aesthetics. Like, I'd want you to do my lips." And I was like, at that point, I've never touched a needle in my life. But I was like, I can always give it a go. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Because I was probably putting it off about 2 years, I'd say, the aesthetics course, because I was like, oh, like I'm not into needles, I'm not really into blood. Like, what if it goes wrong? But then one day I just decided, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least I've tried, and I won't know unless I actually try it.
Hello and welcome back to the Face It podcast, run by Faces Consent, an app by practitioners for practitioners. I'm your host Jess, and today we have got a brand new face to the podcasts. But of course, don't forget you can rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. There's so much information, tips, industry advice available now on this platform as we hit over 120 episodes of this show. Share us with your industry friends, let them know about all the free tools that we offer here at Faces. It's the perfect kickstart to any new business. If you'd like the chance to come and chat to me about your experiences, share your own story and your own expertise in the industry, then of course let me know. You can find us on Instagram at FaceItPod or message me personally at Jess_Messenger. That's Messenger with an ENGER. It is though now time, of course, to introduce our wonderful guest today. So a big warm welcome to Julia from Glam Room. Welcome to the Face It podcast, Julia.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Let's jump into your career a little bit. So we've got just a bit of background there. How did your career in beauty begin? I think it began with lashes. Am I right with saying that?
Yes. So when I was around 15, 16, like year 11 time in school, I'm quite like an ambitious, spontaneous child. So I'd be doing sports, I'd be doing all sorts of like clubs after school. And then I came across a lash course in Poland because I am Polish. So I was on holiday back in Poland and I was really, really bored. And my mum was like, "Oh, why don't you do a lash course? It will keep you busy, whatever." So I did the course, completed it, and I was like, okay, that was fun. That's it. Could kind of put the certificate to the side, focusing on GCSEs, school, going out, the whole, year 11 life. Finished year 11, and then it came to a point where I decided I think I should probably get a summer job for something. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll just do lashes. So I just started texting my friends, like, hi, does anyone want lashes? Literally for like a five or a tenner, just to kind of just get me going. And then it kind of picked up really quickly from there. Like I remember for like the second or third week, I was already getting really booked up, like full days.
Wow.
'Cause I did like my close friends, but then it was like like a friend's friend or a friend's cousin would come, or your friend's mum, auntie, cousin, whatever. So then they'd all come, and then I got really busy going from there. But then I obviously went into college, but I did sociology, English language and law, still doing the lashes on the side, and I kind of did both at the same time.
Mm.
Went into uni, did international business management while still doing beauty, dropped out of the uni, took beauty up full time. That's when I did like my brows, my teaching, because that's when COVID hit as well. So I had a lot of spare time. And then I went back to uni last year to do medical sciences, and that's when I picked up aesthetics at the same time. So yeah, it's been
It's
a
been
fun 5 years.
It has. It's been a whirlwind, but it's amazing, really, that you kind of had that skill straight out of school because what a lovely thing to be able to make your own money.
Yeah,
Around
I feel
college,
like it was
around
a lot down
uni.
to my mum for sure. Because my mum did nails at my age. So she was like, oh, I think you should have a job, like a beauty job, because beauty's always in. Like everyone's always getting beauty treatments done. And she was like, yeah, like if you do lashes, you can work your own hours, you kind of make your own money. Like beauty works around you more than you work around beauty, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So I think she kind of like pushed me into it. And then because I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. Like, I mean, it's work, but I don't really think it's hard work as much
yeah.
because it's like, your clients are your friends, you come in, you have a chat, you gossip, you have a laugh whilst you're doing lashes, and then you're basically getting paid after the 2 hours. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think it just gives you a really good start in the world of sort of owning your own business, really. It's like a little
Yeah.
taster, and I think a lot of people don't get that. You know, when I came out of school, well, I had jobs from the age of 14, so I literally worked at the local football ground flipping burgers, and then it was,
Mhm.
you know, I then worked in a clothes shop, and then I worked in a cafe for 5 years, and then I worked in one of those little fish foot spa things, and then I worked at Nando's, and then I became a dental nurse. It's just like this really long-winded journey to finally owning my own
Yeah.
business. So yeah, I'm quite envious of that in a way, that I didn't sort of have that from a very early age. I think I would have progressed a lot quicker had I have had that
Mhm.
string to my bow, really. So yeah, it's a fantastic thing to do, I think, Julia. You said you went to university after doing your A levels. So this was
Yeah.
during COVID that you decided to do A
Yeah.
levels. Was that right?
Yeah, so we did A levels. It was the first year of my A levels that COVID hit. So towards
Mm,
the end of the year,
okay.
I think it was like March, April, went into lockdown, and obviously everyone in college was like, "Oh, free holiday for 2, 3 weeks," and then that 2, 3 weeks turned into months and months. So
Mm,
the second year, I didn't really go much into college because it was mainly online. So I
yeah.
don't even feel like I did the second year. But
Yeah, feel like you missed
yeah.
out on there. But yeah, so you did your A levels during COVID, mostly online. You then went to university. So you did just briefly touch on this, but explain what you actually went for and then what you ended up coming out with at the end, because that's
So
quite
I was
interesting.
meant to be doing the whole plan was to do business management with real estate. That was the original plan. I got a place in uni in Kingston, like near London. I
Mm,
had this all like fantasy. I was like, okay, I'll go to London. I'll live there, live the London life, because I actually used to live in London when I first came to England,
okay.
and I like the fast paced city life. Like the busy, the hectic. Like I quite enjoy it. But then it got to results day. I got in and I got the email confirming I'm in, and I was like, oh my god, I
Oh
have to move
no,
to London
I'm
now. Like
actually in.
I was like, oh god, this is really scary. So then I said to mum, I was like, I don't think I can do it. Like, it's all great when you think of it, but then when it
Mm,
comes to actually doing it, I was like leaving everything behind, my job, family, friends, just to move to completely fresh, not
mm,
knowing anything or anyone. I was like, I don't think I can do it. So then that's when I opted out for option B, which was international business management in Manchester. So all I have to do is commute every single day. But that only lasted a few weeks, I'd say at most, because I just decided it's not for me.
yeah, it was just this idea that you had, and actually underneath all that you had this other passion brewing.
Yeah.
So this happened, you realized it wasn't really the path for you.
Yeah.
How did that turn into aesthetics? Like what did that road look like from that decision to then going and qualifying in
So
aesthetics?
I did the business management and then I kind of put that on the side, took up beauty full time. But when I was still in college, I actually wanted to go into like dentistry, like something medical, but not necessarily like a doctor, like none of that. And then, but my college teacher basically told me, "Oh, with your A levels, you don't qualify to be a dentist." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I kind of put that off. But yeah, then I got onto a medical sciences course, which would lead to dentistry. But
Mhm.
that same year I was at uni, I was actually getting my lips done, and I was chatting to the girl who does my lips because she's my mum's friends from like years and years. And I was like, oh, like I really want to do something medically, but maybe like beauty wise. And she was like, well, why don't you do aesthetics? And I was like, oh, well, that would actually kind of make sense because if I want to go into dentistry, but like also beauty, it kind of
Kind
collides
of
together
gloss
in
over,
some way.
yeah.
But I was like, oh, Laura, like the girl who does my lips. So I was like, Laura, like I don't really think, this is for me. Like I'm a bit scared of needles. Like when I see blood, I'm like, oh God, like I can't do it. And she was like, oh, you'll be fine. She was like, just don't think about it. You just have to get through it. And my gran said the same thing because my gran used to be a nurse, and she was like, "You just can't overthink the whole blood, like all that stuff. You just gotta get through it. You've got gloves on, so you're not actually touching it." And I think when people are scared of needles, scared of blood, I think it's more like psychological.
Yeah.
Like if like you've got gloves on, you have to kind of tell yourself like, "No, it's fine." You're not actually touching the blood. And I think like that's what kind of got me past that point. And then when I went to uni to do medical sciences, it's like you're forced to do all the
Yeah. You've
needles
got
and
no
all the
choice,
gruesome stuff,
no
all the
choice.
practicals. So I was like, I have no choice now. So I kind of just got thrown into it. And then at the start, I was just like, oh, don't think about it too much. Like the needle, yeah, like let's say it goes into the lips, but just don't think it's a needle going to your lips. You've just got a set of lips and you just need to fill them in, get a nice shape. Like you just can't overthink it too much. But now it's fine. My whole
Mm.
family always laughs. They're like, who would have thought you, scared of needles and blood, would
Out
be
of
doing it
all
for a
out of all
living?
the people, it would be you,
Yeah.
doing it.
But
Like you say, you just have to look at it from a technical point of view and not get too
Mhm.
kind of bowled over by what's actually going on in front of you. And it's funny you mentioned dentistry because that's where I cut my teeth. Really, I did. No pun intended. I was in the industry for 7 years as a
Oh,
nurse,
yeah.
and that definitely got me over. It got me over any issues I had with the human body and bodily
Yeah.
fluids and whatever else. Like at this point, I don't think there's a lot that could really phase me.
Mhm.
So yeah, it is really, really helpful. You just become quite pragmatic about what's in front of you, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. You just gotta get through it. Don't think of it too much,
Hmm.
and you're good to go.
So after this point, then you began training in lashes and brows, didn't you? Was training
Yes.
something that you always wanted to do, or did you see this as an opportunity during that difficult time of COVID and found a way to make this industry work for you? Because obviously it meant a lot of you couldn't work during that time. So
Yeah.
was that kind of the inspiration behind going through forward your training? Was there a
I'd
passion there?
say with I think as a whole with me and my business, it's all very spontaneous. I don't
Mm,
really tend to plan anything. I think I've got like undiagnosed ADHD at this point. My whole family says it because I'll get like a crazy idea. I'm like, oh my God, let's just do it. And then, touch wood, every time it's somehow worked out. So I just think it's one of them because I've always loved like teaching and like helping other people like to understand stuff. I was like, oh, I'd love to like just teach people to do lashes because I've done it for so many years. Like I'd say, I've got the experience. And then during COVID, I obviously had all that spare time because I couldn't work. You know, I
mm,
couldn't do my driving lessons. I was just at home. So I thought, oh, I'll just do my teaching diploma then. And then it's ready and set to go if potentially I would have a student who would want to enroll with me when I qualified.
yeah.
So that's sort of where it just began.
Yeah, this is it, and you've utilised that time effectively. Like you say, you sat there twiddling your thumbs anyway. You can't do clients. You
Yeah.
can't do anything else that fun. So it's like, okay, what can I do this time? What can I do so that when I come out at the back end of it, I've got something to show for that time? And the equivalent of that for me was I launched another company and I had a product company for 3.5, nearly 4 years. And that was all launched just before COVID. And so I have fond memories of COVID in a really weird way. I was sort of holed into my own little studio, on my own little world, doing my own little business. I grew this thing online. And so I have quite a lot of fond memories of having that time to kind of just spend on me and what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a lot of negatives, a lot of bad things going on, but yeah, I definitely had an alternative experience of that time compared to some people, I think. So you sound like me. You've utilised that time well, and it's funny
Yeah.
you mention about thinking that you might have ADHD because I swear I've had this conversation 5 or 6
I
times in the
can't
last
just
month.
sit still and do nothing. My
Yeah,
mum always laughs at me when I get a day off work, which is like hardly ever because I'm always like, I'll have a day off. I'm like, okay, like I'll just book a client in because I just can't sit still. And then when I do have a day off, I think of 100 things to do. So I'm busy, like I'm not actually free anymore because I've just come up with loads of random stuff to do.
mm. That's the business life, though, isn't it? I think.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
there's always a never-ending list of things that you could be
All
doing.
right.
The opportunity then to open your own salon came up shortly after this time. Can you tell us about
Yeah.
that?
That was another very spontaneous decision. Very random. I was actually in the queue at the airport to go to Amsterdam, and I got a message request from another like beauty person, and she was like, "Hi, just to let you know, there's a beauty salon around the corner from your house. We're moving out of it. It's back up for rent. If you'd like it, like if you want to have a look at it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." A salon was always a thing that I wanted, but it wasn't a priority. If it
Mm,
came up, I'd be like, "Okay, I'd go look at the place," but I wasn't like set like, oh my God, I need a salon now. Like if it came up, yeah, if I didn't, I'm fine working from home. Like I didn't really mind. But then yeah, this salon came up and then we had a look at it and then we got talking to the neighbour, the owner who was actually my neighbour's cousin. And she was like, oh, because she's like an older woman, she's really cute. She's called Karen, she's so cute.
mm.
And she was like, oh, I've seen myself in you because I was your age when I got this salon originally. And like,
Wow.
she's retired now. And she was like, I think it's time to let go of it and pass it on to like the younger generation. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really cute. And it was just one of them offers where it's round the corner from my house, literally walking distance.
Wow.
It's so convenient. The size, it's not massive, but it's not small. It's like a good 3 big rooms, so it fits everything we
Decent
need. And
size.
yeah, so I kind of needed that like work house balance
Mm,
because working long hours and you're constantly at home, you feel like you're just not leaving the house.
mm.
So then when you do finish work, you want to get out of the house, but when it's like 10, 11 p.m., there's not much you can go. So I feel like getting a salon was probably like a good decision, because now I have the thought of, I'm in work, I shut the door, that's work done. Like
Yeah.
I'm at home now, I'm at peace. Whereas I'd be sat at home and I was still technically in work
Yeah.
because my bedroom was next to the bedroom I used to work from. So I was like, I'm just constantly in the salon. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I completely understand that, especially, I've been working remotely now since just before COVID, actually. I started working remotely at another company, and then I had my own company, as I mentioned, from here in my own studio space for several years. And now I work remotely with Faces. So I've
Hmm.
worked remotely for a long time, and that is one of the tricky aspects, is having
Yeah.
that separation between
Hmm.
work and home. And
Because you're
so I have
constantly in the house
you're constantly
non-stop.
in. Yeah, yeah, and you do feel like sometimes a few days can go by and I've not actually stepped foot out of my front
You
door,
don't even
and
realise,
I don't
because you're in
realise.
work, but you're actually at your house, but you've
Yeah,
not left the house
and I
to go
think,
to work. Yeah,
because my husband's available to go and do, nip to the shop or whatever, do the dog while I'm working. So actually sometimes 2 or 3 days can go and I think, I've not actually stepped foot out of this front door
yeah,
for 3 days. So it's really bizarre. It is bizarre. It's just
yeah.
those small little interactions, isn't it, with the
I
outside
remember
world.
working, I think it was Christmas, and like Christmas is busy as it is in the
Yeah.
beauty industry. So I was working every single day, and I had one client not turn up, and it was like the 23rd or 24th of December. And I remember like my mum saying, "Oh, I'm just nipping to the shop. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, it feels so weird to leave the house after like 10 days. Like
Yeah.
I'm in the car, there's other people around. I was like, this is crazy. Like it was just a weird experience because it's a normal experience, but because I was basically locked away for the past 10 days, I was
Mm,
like, oh my God, like life exists outside. Like this is
yeah.
crazy.
I think that's the side of it people don't talk about when you've got your own home space.
Yeah.
You definitely lose that interaction with the outside world.
Hmm.
So what made you decide to add aesthetics into the equation then? Was it that, you saw that opportunity, there was that combination of more of that clinical side of things with the beauty? Did you have a passion for it? You were obviously having lip filler yourself, weren't you, at the time?
Yeah.
Was that it? So you were a client then, really, first and foremost.
Hmm.
So did it kind of stem from that passion for having aesthetic treatments yourself, and you thought, actually, you know what, I could do a really good job of doing this?
I think that was definitely one of the reasons. All my clients would come in and some of them would be like, "Oh, I can see you doing aesthetics. Like, I'd want you to do my lips." And I was like, at that point, I've never touched a needle in my life. But I was like, I can always give it a go. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Because I was probably putting it off about 2 years, I'd say, the aesthetics course. Because I was like, oh, like I'm not into needles. I'm not really into blood. Like, what if it goes wrong? But then one day I just decided, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least I've tried. And I won't know unless I actually try it. So yeah, that day I remember I texted the girl who trained me. I was like, "Hi, like I'm looking to book in a space." She was like, "Oh well, actually looking for you. We do have a space available on our next course if you'd want to do that one." So I was like, "Okay, let's just do it." And then I remember she sent me the pre-study, and a lot of the pre-study I already knew from uni because it
Mm,
was literally the same thing. It was just like a more of like a recap rather than learning something new. And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's actually quite simple." And then I
mm,
remember going to the course, and on the first day, I want to say we did like the CPR, the first aid, and all that. But part of the first treatments was like Botox, the lemon bottle, like the fat dissolving, and I was like, okay, like I actually quite enjoy this. But another thing was definitely that I knew I couldn't do lashes for the rest of my life.
yeah.
Not even because like I love doing lashes, like I do actually really enjoy it, but health wise, my body just doesn't agree.
Yeah.
The back aches, the neck, like it's really bad sometimes. And my mum used to say, she was like, you can't just constantly be sat working 12 hours doing lashes. Like as much as you enjoy it, you need another something else that makes you money, but you're not sat there for 2 hours hunched
Mm,
over because it's just unhealthy. So
mm,
I was like, okay, like aesthetics wise, the treatments are so much faster. They're
yeah.
obviously a lot more difficult, risky, all that, but like I feel like it's better because I'm stood up. I can move around, especially with like vitamin injections. It's a quick, easy job. You're not sat hunched over for 2 hours, whereas
Yeah.
lashes, unfortunately, that is the reality.
Yeah, I completely get on board with that. So I do PMU, and so obviously, yeah, 2.5, 3 hours. Sometimes
You're
you're
just
you're
like
hunched over
sat
tattooing
there
someone.
with a top
Yeah,
on.
and I had no appreciation for what that was like for tattooists until I started doing PMU, and it's like now, I just look at some of the girls that I work with who do 8, 9 hour pieces, And I'm like, I don't know how you manage that, because my back is in bits by the time I finish
Yeah.
just one client. So yeah, same for me really. I do tooth gems as well. So that's my kind of my stood up, my natural
Yeah.
posture type service. It's quite quick. It's 20 minutes, half an hour. And then I've got the PMU, which is 2.5 hours of just,
Mhm.
sat like a
It's
prawn
nice
the
to have like a
entire
mix up
time.
as well sometimes, you know,
It is.
like
Yeah.
a difference in day. It's not just a full 12-hour day of just lashes. It's kind of like
Yeah.
lashes and then lips and then lashes, but then anti-wrinkle, you know, you kind of like splits
It
up your day a
breaks your
little bit as
day up.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Completely get that. So what's the most rewarding part of your job, would you say?
I'd probably say just the making friends with clients. Like I do really enjoy it because when I see like a new client come in, I'm like, that's like a whole new person, you know, a whole new story. You always find people with like crazy jobs or crazy experiences. Like I will never forget one client I had, and I think it was like the second year in when I started doing lashes, and she came from like the Amazon rainforest because her
Wow,
parents are scientists. So she was out there like being homeschooled out there. I was like,
no
this is
way.
insane. Like the way she was talking, I was like, I feel like I'm in a film, you know, like this
Yeah,
doesn't even seem real. But she was like, oh yeah, you know, like my school trips were camping in the rainforest or like going in a boat through the river. I was like, this
wow.
is crazy. Like we've literally come from two complete different worlds. Like I've come from the city, you know, like
Yeah.
the usual lifestyle everyone has, and then she's literally come from like a rainforest to Heywood. Like this is just insane. So yeah, I think it's quite rewarding because then they come in and then they trust you, and then you do the lashes or the lips, and then they're just happy. And you're like, oh, okay, like you know. And it's the best part is when it's like the birthdays or weddings, especially because you know
Mm,
that they've trusted you enough with their special day. So
mm,
then you do the lashes, and you know that the pictures have your lashes on for the rest of their life. And it's
mm.
just, I don't know, it's just crazy to think, but it's really cute.
Yeah, it is those client relationships, and I think that was the thing I was missing coming off the back of closing my product business, was that one-to-one interaction that I'd got from nursing.
Yeah.
So when I came back into service and started seeing clients one-on-one, that was the piece that was missing from business for me, I think. So I can agree on that. I think it's probably the most rewarding bit for me really, and just getting to know people. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're providing them a service that they want. And yeah, it's just nice, isn't it? It's nice. I think you do have to be a people person for sure to do this kind of work.
Yeah, I'll say so. Yeah, I was really shy at the start, really shy.
Yeah.
But when I teach my students and like say they're completely new to the business, I'm like, oh, you know, this is how you should act with a client. You know, do this, do that, don't do that. And they're like, oh yeah, but like it's so easy for you to say. I'm like, no, if you met me back 5 years ago, I was so shy. I'd open the
Wow.
door like, hi, like just come in, like so quiet. But I feel like it's just practice over time. You
It's
just become more and
confidence
more
building.
confident. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just confidence in your ability, isn't it? And confidence in what you're
Mhm.
doing. And you almost get a bit of a personal script as well, I find. Like the way that I say things, the way that I run through, pre-care or aftercare, or you've kind of got your own
Yeah.
little personal script that's personalized to
Yeah.
you. And you're so used to saying it, it just kind of rolls off the tongue. It's got your own personality in there. I always find that when I've had a new treatment, I'm like, "Oh god, I've really got to think about what I'm saying again, because like this
Yeah.
information's new, and that trips me up then. I feel out of
It's
my
not like
flow."
embedded into your head.
Yeah.
I know and I'll be like fillers. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like do this, like drink water, don't do this, don't do. It's just like it's just embedded in my head. It just comes like straight out. Like anti wrinkles. I'm like, yeah, you know, relax, don't exercise, don't put your head down. Like it's just so natural. Like, I'm just like cleaning my hands, you know, cleaning the workspace. I'm just saying this like it's nothing.
Mm.
But if I do something completely new, I'm like, 1 second, let me get my
What
phone
was
out
that
to make
again?
sure I've
Yeah,
gone
let me
through
get
all
my
the
little. Yeah,
aftercare.
yeah, I have it still from my consultations for PMU, because there's so much information for PMU that it's
Yeah.
one, overwhelming for the client, but two, I have to make sure I've hit every single thing, because it's so
Mhm.
easy to get lost on a tangent that you
Oh
forget
yeah.
to hit a point. So I've got like a bit of a laminated sort of bullet point list to make sure that I've definitely covered everything they need to know in that consultation. And I used that for ages before eventually it was like, no, this is like well ingrained
Yeah.
now. I can just kind of do it off the top of my head. So yeah, I used to laugh about it with clients and go, I'm really sorry, I'm just checking my list because it's not ingrained in my sort of structure yet. But that's the same for anyone, isn't it? Like when you're new to
Yeah.
the industry and you're new to doing a new treatment, like everybody goes through that process of feeling a bit unconfident.
I remember when I started aesthetics, I had like the manual that I got given, I was doing lips, I'd have that open on the side. I was like, I know what I'm doing, but just in case,
Yeah,
I want that just
it's
in
a
case. Like, I
safety
have a little
net.
backup, Yeah. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
doing the lips. It's like, oh, let me just check 1 sec. Let me just double check again.
Yeah,
But yeah.
safety net, but that's why you have your models and everything else, when you're first
Hmm.
starting out, there's a reason for that, isn't there? You're just kind of finding your feet really and getting your flow. So what's your favourite treatment then? Have you got kind of, obviously you love lashes. We get
Yeah,
that.
I'd probably say lash is my favourite one.
Yeah. But
Just
aside
because
from
I feel like
lashes,
lashes really transform someone's face.
yeah.
Like, but at the same time, it's one of them. It's if they're done correctly, they really make your face look nice. But if they're not, they look a bit too fashionable. Like I
Mm.
can't I do judge people in the streets. When I go to like Morrison's and I see someone's lashes, I'm like, oh,
Let me get
okay, like
hold of
who did
those.
that? Like I just can't stop staring. So I'm like, oh,
Just
okay.
give them your
So I
business
always
card.
yeah, literally, I'm like, do you want to come sit round to selling this up the road? But yeah, because I always think the way I do client lashes on clients is if I was the client, if I have my eyes right now, would I be happy or would I not be happy?
Yeah.
And hopefully the answer is always yes. So, but it's one of them. It's like my clients will come in, they'll show me a picture like, oh, I love these lashes. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to look the same on you, simply because your eyes are different, your face features are different. Like there's two completely different faces. So then you kind of come to an agreement of what you advise for them and what they want, and you kind of come into the middle, and then it just works out. But yeah, I'd probably say
That's
lashes.
really interesting. That is, Julia, because I think that's the first time we've ever really touched on that. We've talked about that with aesthetics a lot on this podcast, but actually, we've never really discussed that with lashes. And I think you're totally right, because I've made the mistake a number of times of just buying like your packet lashes, stick on for
Yeah,
a night out, and they look great on the photo, they look great on the model. They've come and they look absolutely bloody awful on me.
that's it.
They're
Like
either too big,
yeah,
too thick, too long, too black,
yeah.
whatever. Um, and it's really disappointing. So that's so true. I've never thought about you even need to really work with the client's look
Oh
for
yeah, I always
lashes.
talk to them
Yeah.
way before. I've got two clients. I think they're friends. I think they're best friends, something along the lines. And I did one of them for years, and then she brought her friend over, and she was like, "Oh my god, I love that girl's lashes. I want the same as hers." I was like, "Okay, yes." I looked at her eyes, and I was like, "Your eyes are completely different. That girl's eyes are really like short and quite like big, whereas yours
Mm.
are quite wide and smaller." And she has like a droopy eye. So I thought, if we do the catty on you, it's gonna droop even more. They're gonna look awful. But she was so set on doing the exact same as a friend, so I was like, okay, fine. So I ended up doing what she wanted. She opened, she was like, oh. I was like, they don't look right because I told you the style doesn't match. So then she came back like a few weeks later and we did them again. She was like, you know what, this time I'm not saying anything. You do what you want to do. So I was like, okay, well, you like them quite long, you like them quite wispy, but we just need to kind of change the lash map a little bit to have the longest more in the middle rather than the end. And then we did
Mm.
them. She was like, oh my god, I love them. So I was like, yeah, that's why it's
Yeah.
always important to sort of match the lashes to the client, because even
Yeah.
when I teach students, I feel like a lot of them get taught, there's classics, high vis Russians, cat eye, doll eye, maybe squirrel eye if you're lucky. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, there's so much more. You can experiment so much. Curls, lengths, spikes, layers, there's so much you can do. That's why every single set of lashes looks different. Even if you do a set of long hybrids on every single person, every eye comes up differently. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm like, you need to chat to your client and then kind of assess what sort of eye they have and what will look good on them. And then normally, hopefully, they will trust you. So you're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But after you've done them once, you can always, go back and change something or go longer, go shorter, fuller, less full. But yeah, I feel like that consultation is really important at the start because you don't want to sell them something that's not true. Because
Mm.
if they come with a picture like, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that, and then they come out with something completely different, they'll be very disappointed. Then they probably won't come back.
I think that's like really interesting that you've shared that. I don't think I've ever thought about lashes in that way. Nobody's ever said that, at least to my knowledge, on the podcast. And it's certainly made me think about when I next go for my lashes,
Yeah.
making sure that the technician understands that element as well. Because
Yeah.
like you say, I think there's usually quite a limited sort of option or a limited knowledge in some ways. It's kind of like cut and paste. You know how people do with Botox sometimes, they sort of just do their points and it's like
Do
cut
the
and
same
paste
part on
on.
every single person. Call it a
Yeah,
day. Next.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like that. So yeah, thanks for that. Really interesting.
It's okay.
So what are your most popular treatments that clients ask for then, taking lashes out of the equation? And why do you think these particular treatments are so popular with your clients in particular?
I'd probably say apart from lashes, I'd probably say lip filler and anti-wrinkle are
Mm,
like the ones everyone goes for. Lips especially because a lot of people are self-conscious with the size of their lips, or they might not be symmetrical, they might want to change them a little bit, make them bigger. But I also feel like lips also make a big difference to someone's face. Like I know myself, I used to have really skinny little lips. And now I look at myself and I'm like,
same.
whoa, like this is the same person. This is insane. Like I just don't even look the same. And then anti-wrinkle because obviously no one wants wrinkles. I always get like clients, especially men. I actually have a lot of men coming in, but
Yeah.
it's one of them. They come in like, don't tell anyone, don't tell my wife I'm here. And
Mm,
I'm like, no, it's fine, private, confidential. I'm not going to tell anyone that you were here. But yeah, I feel like the way the world is going now, everyone's trying to look, younger, smoother.
mm.
So I feel like everyone's heading towards the aesthetics, the lips, the anti-wrinkles, that sort of direction.
Do you find that your client base seems to be more around your age group? Do you find that you've got quite a wide age group? I'm interested
I'd
to
say
know.
it's quite wide, yeah.
Yeah,
My youngest clients would probably be about 16, 17, simply because I don't do younger. I
yeah,
don't go lower than 16
yeah.
personally. I don't feel the need to start off with. When you're 13, 14, apart from my sister, because she's 13, but that's irrelevant. I just don't think 13-year-olds need lash extensions.
Yeah.
They're a child, be a child. You're not going to be a child forever, sort of thing.
Mm.
But yeah, I'd say up to 16. And my oldest client was 86, 87. So yeah, it's
Wow.
it's quite a wide difference.
Yeah, that's great. It's interesting. And obviously, like you say, it depends on the demographic as to what sort of treatments they'll probably go for. Like you say, your
Yeah.
16 to 18s are obviously going to be your lashes, and then your 18 plus,
Mhm.
I'm assuming they're into their lashes, but also maybe into a bit more of the lip fillers as
Yeah. They
well.
always
Is
get
there?
interested like, oh, what's anti-wrinkle? Like, what does it do? And then,
Mm,
or like lemon bottle, like Fat is always like, oh, why? What is it? What happens with it? Have you got any pictures? So I'll show them like before and after. It's like, oh, okay. And then, because I feel like clients are not very educated.
no, they're not.
Like they
Mm,
come in and they're completely clueless. So they'll start asking about like, oh well, what's anti-wrinkle? And I
mm,
think us as technicians, we just assume everyone knows what we know. Like they come with like, oh, you don't know what anti-wrinkle is, but then you have to think they've not done what the training you've done. They've not a clue what it is. They're
yeah,
completely new to this whole world. So you have to like walk them through it. Like skin boosters, for example, they've not a clue what that is,
mm.
but you just assume they should know, but they don't. So yeah, I feel like you have to explain it to them, and then a lot of clients are like, "Oh, I didn't even know something like that existed." Or what happens a lot as well, if I'll have clients coming in for like, let's say, like they want marionette lines, for example, because they've got lines. I'm like, "Oh, but skin boosters could probably sort that out better,"
Mm,
and they're like, "Oh, well, why? What's that?" So it's kind of like your client books in for one thing, but sometimes they don't come out with that treatment. They'll come in with something, and I'm like, "Oh, well, this will work so much better if we do that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, we'll try that instead then." So it's just kind of the consultation part again, just trying to see client what they want, what they should have.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, we've said this before on the podcast as well. Like the education part is really, really important because, like you say, I think that they're either completely uninformed about the
Yeah.
options available or they're completely misinformed about the options that
Hmm.
are available because there's
That's
so
another
much
thing,
knowledge
yeah.
online now. So, they think that they want one thing. It could be that they think that they want chin filler or cheek filler, and
Hmm.
actually, that's not what they need. They need something else. So you're kind of trying to educate more so that people understand what's available, but also trying to undo some of the knowledge that they think
Oh
they
yeah.
have about things. So that's your challenge really as an esthetician,
Oh
isn't
yeah.
it? All of the
They'll come
time.
in and they'll say something and I'm like, that's so not true. Like I don't
Yeah.
know who told you that, but that is so untrue. I'm like, forget
TikTok
that.
probably.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I googled it. I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't always trust Google. Like, it's not a reliable source. But then I also feel like when they come in and start asking you questions, it makes you look a lot more professional because
Mm,
they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. So they trust you more because they know what you're, doing and saying. But I've known a practitioner in the past, and I remember a client was actually asking a question, and she was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, "Oh god." Like,
mm,
if I went to someone for, say, even lip filler, and I asked them a question about the lip filler, and it was like, "Oh, I don't know," I'd be like, "Oh,
yeah.
like, I don't know." My trust is kind of gone now because what do you mean you
Mm.
don't know? You just assume that, your specialists should know what they're doing, and if they don't know, then I recommend you go educate yourself, because you shouldn't
Yes.
be doing what you're doing.
No, completely agree with you there. What's the most challenging part of your job then, would you say?
Balance in life, work. I'm really bad for always working.
Mm,
Always. I'll be out with my friends and I'm like, oh yeah, but I've just got to reply to this client. Or even recently, like I went on holiday for the weekend with my friends and everyone was sitting in the hotel room getting ready. And I was like, yeah, just 1 minute. I just need to send over a prescription for some anti-wrinkle because I've got a
mm,
client the first day I'm back, so I need it to come in time whilst I'm away. So yeah, I always struggle to find that balance. But with
mm,
running your own business as well, I feel like you can't just shut off. You just can't do that,
mm.
because like I went away for 2 weeks now, but I did a few set of lips before I went. So obviously when your client messages like, hi, like I've got a bruise, is that normal? I can't just ignore them for 2 weeks
Yeah,
because I'm on holiday. You've got to be available for them ones, like, oh yeah, that's completely normal, blah blah blah. So yeah, I feel like that balance, like I'm quite improving now. It took me 5 years, but I'm slowly getting there. Like I have slightly stricter hours now. So I'm like past 8 p.m., no clients booked in, like 8 p.m. is my finish line,
yeah,
just because I can't spend my life working away like every single day, day to night, because I'm just missing out on like family things, friend things. So I'm like, no, we'll prioritize the family and friends first, and then clients can get booked around it. Because I've come to the conclusion like I'd rather miss out one client than like a family party,
yeah,
because you can't go back to the family party, but your client can come in the next day. It's not that big
yeah.
of a deal.
It's about having boundaries, isn't it? And I think
Yeah,
you learn by doing it wrong. And
yeah,
I certainly learned in my previous business. So I would work all hours every day. I would take my laptop with me away on holiday and I would sit doing, deliveries and orders and problems with this and problems with that while in New York, for example.
yeah.
And I would work till 3 in the morning, doing
Hmm.
product launches or whatever else. And yeah, I don't think I realized in the thick of it how bad it was until I kind of closed it and then started this new business. And I
Hmm.
was like, yeah, I can't work like that anymore.
It's not healthy.
It's
It's
not
not good.
healthy. And I definitely didn't realize the impact until I kind of stopped and was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back to doing that. And I'm the same as you now. I won't work past 8 p.m.
Hmm.
And I'll make sure that I've got certain days off. We've just come back from a few days in Wales. I did not take my
Hmm.
laptop for 3 days.
Yeah.
I was reachable, but I'm not doing any extra work. So yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to be reachable, but other than that, you do
I
have to
think you
have
need to like just
boundaries.
live in the moment a little bit more. Like
Yeah,
I love my job. I think this is why partly why I work so much is because I do
yeah.
actually enjoy it.
You
Like I
love
do
what
love
you're doing.
the whole business. Like I really don't mind it. Like I always say to my clients who come in, they're like, "Oh, like I'm going to work again." I'm like, I don't think I've ever said that. Like I've
No,
never been like mad or I'm coming to work. I'm like, oh, I'm going to work. And my dad always laughs at me because I say to my dad like, all I do for a living is get dressed up and then just gossip. That's literally what I do for a living. But yeah, I just feel like you need that sort of balance, live in the moment sort of thing, because your work days go past quick. Like you
mm,
don't realise, but then you just miss out on the things that you should probably prioritise your time on.
mm,
So like I'm just gonna stop working as much, work as much as I can, but also have family quality time, going out with friends. So yeah, I feel like I've done my fair share of the 5 years. But I also think because I started so young, my whole business was kind of like a learning
yeah,
curve. It wasn't, because there's no set plan for a business,
no.
realistically. You kind of learn as you go. And because I was so young, I was like, I've not a clue what I'm doing. So yeah.
But I don't even think it's necessarily your age as well, Julia. Like, I think, especially with your first business, I don't think anyone really knows what they're doing because there's not really a blueprint for it.
Yeah.
You have this idea, whatever it is, you launch this idea, and then you just kind of do the business every day.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And that's when you have to backtrack and think, oh, right, I've actually got to put some structure in here.
Yeah.
Or like, before you know it, your life runs away from you. But I think that's normal no matter the age. Because if I think, my first real business I was around 27. And then my first product business that did well, I was 30, 31, and I was just like you. I had no idea what I was doing really. I was figuring
You
it
just
out as
kind
I
of
was
go with the
going
flow.
along.
You're just like, okay,
Yeah.
let's try this out.
Yeah, let's try this and see what happens. Let's make this mistake and see what happens there. And that's
Yeah,
just the nature of doing your own business really. But that's the fun, I think, as well. And a bit of that naivety is what makes it so attractive. And it keeps you coming
yeah.
back and it keeps you excited because you don't really
It's
know
felt
what's
like a
around the corner.
creative job because
Yeah.
it's like you have some. This is why I partially like my job as well, because it's not just lashes. Like, it's clients, but it's running a salon, decorating a salon, like
Mm.
teaching, packing course kits. Like, it's got a lot to it. Like the social media, replying to messages.
No
So
two
yeah, I feel
days are the
like
same.
it's quite what's the word? Quite varied.
Yeah. Yeah. Every day is different, isn't it? You've always got
Oh
something
yeah,
new.
that's for sure. You can't plan anything. It's just one day this happens, next day you're like, oh, like for example, 2 days ago I think it was, I had a client come in, and because it's school holidays now, she came with the kids, and we got talking, and she basically mentioned how her daughter's really into beauty and beauty salon, and she loves my salon because it's all like glamorous and pink and gold, and she just loves it. And I was like, oh okay. She was like, yeah, what if we threw a birthday party in here? I was like, I've
I
never really
haven't
thought
even
about that
thought,
one, but like,
yeah.
okay. But then I got thinking, because I love like planning birthdays and parties. Like in my house, I'm always the one planning it, and I go all out because I just love it, the whole
Mm.
planning. And I was like, okay. And the more I started deep in it, I was like, okay, this could actually work. Like we could just
Yeah.
shut off the front room. We could get each little girl, because I think she's 6 or 7, like a pink silky robe, a headband, paint the nails or like braid the hair, just
Yeah.
to get like a little pamper. So I was like, yeah. I said to my mum, I said I'd never thought I'd be throwing birthday parties in the salon, but
Here we are.
this is what we're doing now.
But it's another string to your business bow, isn't it? And it's one of those things with business. I think you have to give these things a go. And like you say, like you were with your training initially, if it doesn't work out, oh well. At least we
Oh
know
well,
not to
just move
bother
on.
doing more of that. We move on and move on to the next thing. But like you say, you've been pretty lucky so far when you've gone in with
Yeah,
both
touch wood.
feet and it's worked out. So exactly. We're coming to the end of the podcast now, Julia. But I am interested to know what's next for you and what's next for the business. Have you got any plans?
So I have a whole list of plans. When they'll actually become reality, we never know. It could take a month, it could take a year. It's one of them. But I definitely want to start setting up online courses as well, because I feel like a lot of people who message me, they're not local whatsoever.
Mm.
They're like 6, 7, 8 hours away. I'm like, that's a long journey to be going for like a 1 day course, which I understand. So I'm thinking of doing like online courses, potentially products, maybe there's already samples in the making. We don't know, maybe, but yeah, definitely going through like that way as well, just so that it still work, but it doesn't require me to physically be there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I want to, have more sources of income, as everyone does. So yeah, and
Smart
I feel like
move.
that'll be a nice addition. Having like my own products to give to students. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is also mine. So yeah.
It's a really smart move, Julia, and I've mentioned this on another episode before that it's something that a lot of practitioners don't consider. And
Yeah.
obviously, coming from a product background, I'm passionate about products. I love products. It's the first thing I've done with my business is start product within it, and it's great for brand building. It's
Mhm.
great for another source of income. It's really easy to market it online and sort yourself an e-commerce store. And so more practitioners need to consider developing products.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased to see you've clearly got that. What the few weeks and few months that you did do at business school, you
Yeah,
can
it
clearly see that it's
works.
helped and it's helped you build your business, and you're clearly thinking in that way. And yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to you. So I'm excited to see that. I'll keep my eye out for that, Julia.
Mhm.
So if you want to let our listeners know where they can find you online and where they can find your training at the moment.
So we have a salon based in Heywood, near Manchester, and they can find us on Instagram. I think it's glam_room Ltd. TikTok, the same username. But yeah, we're a small, cute little salon in Heywood. Training is pretty much 7 days a week. We don't have set days for teaching days. Whenever suits you best, you come in, tell us, and then we sort of go from there. And we offer lash courses, lash lifts, brow courses, packages as well if you want to do more than one. So yeah, that's us. We also offer
Amazing.
aesthetics. nails, same permanent makeup. I personally don't do that, but we do offer as a salon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Julia. You've been an absolute pleasure. You've
You're
shared
very
some really,
welcome.
really great insights into the world of lashing. Yeah, it's just been great to speak with you, and best of
Thank
luck with
you
everything
very
that you've got
much.
planned for the future. I'm sure you'll make it a raging success. And I'll keep my eye out on the products.
Yeah,
I'm very
one
passionate
day
about
they're
that.
coming.
So yeah, I'll keep my eye for sure, and feel free to send us along a post once you've posted about it so that I can come and have a
Yeah,
little look.
perfect. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Julia.
You're very welcome.